All right, welcome to BCN's Weather Center. I'm Silbert Mills with you. Beautiful start to your day. We've got this washed out frontal boundary that's now clipping off to the north. High pressures developed across the Bahamas, and the early clouds now burning off with the morning heat, and so we've got a nice day in store for you under the influence of a pretty good high pressure. Let me show you how things happened over the past 12 hours. This frontal system that was nearly stationary over the northern Bahamas has since moved off to the north. It's being replaced by that high pressure and lots of sunshine across the Bahamas today. Look at the southern half of the United States is pretty nice, and we're looking for a beautiful Good Friday and also a night of prayer at Clifford Park. The weather is going to cooperate. To God be the glory, and all-night prayer. Let's get into our satellite imagery. You can see it's beautiful up and down the coast with a few scattered clouds over Ragged Island this morning. A few scattered clouds just to the south of Long Island into Auckland and into Maguana. One or two clouds off West End just up to the north. Taking a closer look at it here today, you can see those cloud coverage, just a few scattered clouds. One or two scattered clouds over the Abacos as well. Then down near Cat Island off to the east, you've got some scattered clouds. Off in the Atlantic here, we've got a low pressure center that's going to be whipping up the Atlantic for a few days, and it will keep things rough out there, looking for pretty near tropical depression, very close to tropical depression status, but it's not going to develop into that at this stage. It's not expected to become tropical in nature, other than a low pressure center off in the Atlantic. The radar is not picking up any showers across the nation today. It's absolutely gorgeous. Here we're looking for the winds, 10 to 15 knots from the east across the nation. These trade winds are expected this time of year. So look, it's nice for boating. Just you're not expected to venture too far from port. You'll have some rolling seas out there, but it is beautiful nonetheless. Taking a look at the forecast, daytime high temperatures, low to mid 80s during the day, low to mid 70s during the evening. It's a very comfortable temperature range for this time of year. It's still spring. We're not into the full summer months yet, even though if you go outside during the day, it feels pretty much like that. The forecast for tomorrow, everything clears out, continues. This frontal boundary over the midsection of the United States dips down just a little bit, but we here in the Bahamas, it's going to be a very beautiful day to get into the middle of the week. As we're into this week of this Holy Week continuing, you can expect these beautiful conditions to go right in to the weekend. The winds on Wednesday should be 15 knots northeast to east. Again, tropical winds, these trade winds are coming in from the northeast to 15 knots up and down the coast. When you get down into the southern Bahamas, the winds will pick up slightly, looking at 20 knots. That's because down there it moves more southeasterly, and it'll be closer to where the deepening low pressure center is, and as a consequence, because you're closer to that low pressure center, with pretty close to 300 miles from it, the winds pick up, and that's what you'll see down south. Looking at the forecast for Thursday, again, it's beautiful, and the winds will be 10 to 15 knots northeast to east up and down the coast of the archipelago. Looking into Friday, Good Friday, that's our day when we'll be going to church. It looks like you'll have a nice Good Friday time for service, 10 to 15 knots from the northeast and east. And for Good Friday night, it's going to be very nice in the nation's capital at Clifford Park, where they'll have an all-night prayer. That's right, 8 to midnight. It'll be an all-night prayer at Clifford Park. The women in white will be sponsoring this. You need to plan to attend this. The weather is going to cooperate. Don't plan to sleep. Just fly into Nassau after service, and let's have an 8 to all-night prayer at the Clifford Park. The weather is going to cooperate. God continues to answer prayers. All right, here is your boating forecast for today. 4 to 6 foot seas over the northern Bahamas and southern Bahamas. 10 to 15 knot winds from the east. It continues all across the nation. Seas will be 4 to 6 feet offshore. High tides occurring at 9:46, low at 4 p.m. That should be at 4 p.m. and high this evening at 10:16 p.m. And of course, as you go out this evening, it's a good chance for you to go out and catch your very own Good Friday fish. Tides will be high in the evening, so you can go out at your favorite spot and get your fresh fish in time for Good Friday. That's Look at Your Weather, brought to you by our partners at Sky Bahamas Limited. When I fly with Sky.